And we had went and auditioned for Shark Tank a few times, and we had the opportunity to meet a couple of the sharks, right? And so
That's awesome.
Nice.
So we stayed in touch with Mark Cuban, and we got his email, and we emailed him. We emailed Coombs.
You guys are friends now.
Calling them cubes, yeah, obviously, no.
Welcome back to another episode of the Monarch Social Podcast.
Where we discuss all things digital media marketing.
We're testing this out, Koa. We're testing this new intro out.
I like it.
All right, today I am so stoked to have this company with us. This is ReScope Marketing, Jeff McHenry, Brad Coombs. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Yes, thank you guys. Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you. First time podcaster.
Let's
first
go.
time for Brad.
Breaking it in.
First time for me as well.
This is a first.
Really interesting.
Yes.
How to guess that.
Over here.
Let's go.
Super excited.
Yeah, this is awesome, dude. So welcome to the show once again. But the big thing that we always start off on is you guys are both entrepreneurs. You guys have an amazing business. How did each one of you get started? Let's start with Brad, and we'll move this way. Brad, when did you know you were an entrepreneur, and like how did that start for you?
Wow. Really, never really considered myself an entrepreneur maybe until this last year, maybe two.
Really?
You know, I didn't look at myself like that. Yeah, I was just focused on the marketing and plumbing and didn't think about anything else, but there was a lot of other stuff going on.
Does your story kind of start with being a plumber? Is that like what you were doing before ReScope?
No, I know nothing about plumbing.
Oh, okay.
Where does the plumbing come in? Where does plumbing come in?
You threw me through a curveball.
Well, we started up a plumbing company 2 years ago, right before the state shut down for the pandemic. Just an opportunity fell in our lap, and we've done some marketing for some plumbing companies here locally. So we knew how to market and produce the leads. So we took a shot at it, and, here we are 2.5 years later.
Dude, that's super sweet. I'm like, it seems like you already had that little entrepreneur bug inside of you and didn't even know it. I mean, taking over a company that you never did any plumbing before.
Never.
Wow. So it was just the business side of it. That's for sure entrepreneurship right there.
Yeah. We learned along the way. It just shows that, if you work hard enough,
Make it happen.
fail a lot, and keep going, you can do anything.
That's entrepreneur to the core.
Yes,
like you just suck at it until you don't. We were just having that conversation, right before these guys got here. We're like, one of the things that sets us apart is there's a lot of people that get scared
For sure.
because they want perfection, rather than just sucking at it and like making adjustments along the way. Just like this, like we've never had two guests on our podcast, and we're like, fuck it, dude.
We're making it happen. We're
And
squished
we
in here, but we're
appreciate
doing
it.
it.
Yes.
It's not going to be perfect, but
We can make it work.
we're rolling with it.
Yes.
So, Jeff, same question for you, and then I'm so stoked to get into ReScope and what you guys are all about. But how long have you been like the entrepreneur, or when did you know like you were the entrepreneur, and like how did that journey start?
Yeah, great question. With me, for majority of my, working life, career, if you want to call it, I've been mainly in leadership roles. Before I became an entrepreneur and took that leap of faith, I was at a $1 billion corporation. I was the workforce management. I did all the scheduling and forecasting. I created schedule sets around arrival patterns. That's what really got me fascinated with data and how to forecast and actually be able to make business decisions off looking at factual data. And, I did that for roughly almost 6.5 years and really took a liking in that. And I realized, what you can do with some powerful data like that. And that's how I started learning with the right data and with the right business plan, you can do wonders.
Are you in your company, you keep saying data. See, I love data, but I fucking hate the numbers. And you know this, but I do them. Are you like the Excel spreadsheet data guy in your
He's the guru.
Yes, yeah. I live and breathe in Excel sheets. I love pivot tables. I love being able to generate, reports for our clients and give them raw data, but some people like the pictures and the graphs, but ultimately I want to be able to give, the data that helps both those types of personalities, but ultimately, we're a performance-based agency. We're after here to generate revenue. We want to be able to get your payroll paid. likes and engagement and new followers. Unfortunately, that just doesn't pay the bills. So we're after revenue. We chase revenue, and that's the end of our grade as if we were a student in your class.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that I think that's super important. I've told this story before on the podcast, but in my last business, we were going through a hell of a lot of shit, right? And I was like 23 with like 60 employees under me, right? And looking to make payroll.
Yes.
And like we were short and this and that, and we were thinking about like pivoting and doing all these things.
You got to get creative, get scrappy.
And we had went and auditioned for Shark Tank a few times, and we had the opportunity to meet a couple of the sharks, right? And so
That's awesome.
Nice.
So we stayed in touch with Mark Cuban, and we got his email, and we emailed him. We emailed Coombs, and
You guys are friends now.
Calling them cubes, yeah, obviously no.
yeah, and we told him our problems, and he goes, basically, me and my business partner at the time were just like two young tattooed punk ass kids, right? And he's like, go make money, go make sales.
For sure.
Like sales cures all. And then that's what we did. And so when, a lot of people are like, don't chase the money and stuff. But when you have a business, fuck, dude, sales cure a lot of things.
It does. But ultimately, you still need to be able to have an internal organization that has processes, procedures, workflows.
Oh, for sure.
You definitely got to be able to manage that, because it doesn't matter how much money is coming in. At the end of the day, it's like, can you really pay your payroll? Can you pay your expenses? At the end of the day, do you have enough to take home yourself? Because ultimately, the best thing as a business owner is, hey, a give and take, right? For the first couple of years of us building our company, we never even took a paycheck home, because ultimately we were putting that back in the business, getting new employees, a building, better equipment, so you have to make those sacrifices, but ultimately, a growth comes in many forms, just not in a monetary form.
For sure. Let's get into that then. How did ReScope Marketing begin? Tell us like the origin story of how did you guys meet? How did you guys get hooked up, and how did you guys start ReScope?
Yes, I'll let Brad answer this.
Okay. Well, I've known Jeff pretty much, for 20 years. He's my ex-brother-in-law.
There we go.
Family.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So, growing up, I knew he was a computer nerd, computer geek. And I was in the mortgage industry, always buying leads, trying to get that next deal. But anyone in the mortgage industry who buys leads knows the leads are junk.
Yeah, they're not exclusive.
90% of them are junk, and you really got to smile and dial to find the one that will actually not hang up on you and close a deal with. So I came to Jeff wanting to figure out how we can try to generate our own leads, or my own leads, and it just kind of snowballed from there. He didn't know anything about marketing or lead gen at the time.
What year was this? Like how long?
This
ago
was 2018.
Yes.
Wow.
And as cocky as Jeff is, he's like, "Oh, I can figure that out, no problem." And here we are now, almost 5 years later, and we probably failed and spent, I can't tell you how many thousands of dollars on figuring out lead gen, marketing, everything. And, it paid off. And we had those times too where we grew too fast, but we didn't have the foundation built. We didn't have the internal operations where, we had to take 10 steps back just to repair the damage to keep going. So
Yes.
there was several times where we were sweating how to make payroll, pay rent, all that stuff. We could have gave up.
The usual business things.
Yes.
Yeah, for real.
So when you guys first started ReScope, what services did you guys start with, or like what was your main offer?
Yeah, so we strictly stuck with lead generation for, realtors and loan officers, doing like small business, not small business, but most importantly, like home loans, refinances, if there's a first-time home buyer or if it's like a jumbo type of a loan. And that's how it started out, is understanding how to run ads, but ultimately how to catch people's attention so they're just not speed scrolling. but ultimately be able to build a sales funnel, which we call an RGU, a revenue generating unit that's fully customized and automated to what you're trying to achieve, your objective at the time. And, so we were now signing up big firms that has tons of loan officers or realtors, and we were literally giving them hundreds of leads per week and per month.
What platforms were you guys
That's
using?
exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say, is this Facebook? Is this Google? Like, how are you capturing these leads? Like, what
Yeah,
is it
so
Google AdWords? Or?
obviously we want to be able to get the homes in front of people's faces. So ultimately what we used, based on all of our data, was Facebook was really great, and Instagram. Google is really not that good for that type of a space, because people who are looking for houses, obviously they go to those big websites, or ultimately they see a house for sale or for rent on their Facebook feed.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Cody knows this. We don't touch certain industries.
Yes.
That's one industry that we just stay the
And
hell
we've
away from.
figured that out too. Sorry to tell you, loan officers, we still have not found the magic cure for perfect leads.
For quality
Quality
leads. Like you can get
leads.
masses.
Yes.
It's easy to get
Yes.
masses, but
Yeah.
it's like wasted
It's
masses.
organic. You guys need to stay on top of your social media.
For
Yes.
sure.
It's organic.
Yeah, the realtor
Is
needs
your
to
guys'
be
bread and
the face
butter.
of it.
Yes, branding yourself as an individual and as a company is the most imperative.
Totally agree with that. But yeah, just like Morgan said, we don't even touch that anymore, just because, like I said, it's still an ongoing thing. We can't be that realtor and do
Yes.
everything for them like what they need to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately, we can generate leads and we can be able to keep a whole team or a whole firm afloat. But ultimately, you got to have that kind of discipline, like Brad said, smile and dial, and that really
Yes.
takes a certain individual. It's like, are you a door knocker? Like, do you really do hard cold sales? It's just it takes a certain individual to be able to do that. But ultimately, it's understanding your workflow as far as your pipeline. Your lead comes in. What does your follow up process look like? When do you give up? Ultimately, I had leads in our pipeline that was 6 months ago, and they're now just finally, getting to the point now they have the time and now they're reaching out. But most people, they've already given up.
Right.
So it's just understanding how important your pipeline is and how you attack it, and most importantly, what your consistency looks like.
I was gonna say, like when we first got into this, that was one of the things that I had to like change my whole perspective on. I had a cell phone repair company, and so I did all the sales up front, where it was like, oh, you need, like, I would upsell them on everything, so
For sure,
they'd get their
yes.
phone repaired, and then they need a case, a screen protector, and a warranty.
Yes.
Right? And that's what we do. We're waterproofing. And
Huge on waterproofing.
that's how we co-met. And that's a quick sell. Getting into an agency business, I had to like go through this soul process of being like, this is a longer sell.
For sure, yes.
Especially for what we do when we're selling like large accounts. And I'm sure you guys know this, it's a longer sell. There's a lot of
Definitely.
red tape to get through. It's not one of
Yes.
those like lay down sells where it's like, oh, hey,
I'm going to sign up right now.
Yes.
give
Those
me
are the
50 grand
unicorns.
for this. And they're like, oh, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Here you go. And,
Doesn't happen.
I had
Yes.
to change my whole line of thinking and my whole sales process, because I was so used to the laydown.
For
And I was
sure.
cocky motherfucker, dude. I would be like, oh, I'm the best sales guy there is. And I had to wrap my head around that. But hey, once we figured it out,
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
about doing it.
Yes.
We went through that for a minute where we had to create a whole process where it was like, okay, we
It's
just
a
need to get them to
mindset,
this
yes.
next stage. And then from this
For
next
sure.
stage, we hit them with some of the hard details. Then we hit them with the pricing. Like that took us a minute to figure out.
Yeah,
but
and some
we tested it.
and some clients are harder to sign due to the fact of the nature of how big their organization is and how many decision makers are involved in the process. But ultimately, some deals take 60, 90 days, sometimes 120 days due to the fact how big the organization is.
Oh, for sure.
and I've even had clients that, you go and pitch and you talk with and you meet with and you do all this
Sure.
goddamn work and they don't sign up. And they go with someone else, and then a year later, guess what? They're ringing your phone
Right
saying,
back.
"Okay,
Yes.
We
let's
just
get
had
back
that
to this."
happen.
So
Yes.
that's really normal in our, I would say, vertical of what we do as agency owners. Like they'll go try someone else out, and they
Yes.
say, "Okay, I fucked up. Let me try this one out now." So
And we're finding that is happening a lot to people that are going after these agencies that are niche specific. For examples, like, oh, they only do spas or they only do, landscaping companies. We've had literally more than 10 clients that came to us and say, hey, I'm so sorry for not going with you guys a year ago. We were able to find someone that was niche specific. These are all they do. And they were way cheaper than you guys. And now they find out the reason why they were cheaper because 100 other companies are getting the same content as you are. So it's just volume. It's just copy and paste. It's the cookie cutter stuff. And ultimately, you do get what you pay for. But ultimately, they're unable to get a hold of their marketers because, they're either out of the country or out of the state. They send an email. They have a very important deadline or window, and they just can't get that timely response back. So if you think about it, customer service, it's a dying trend anywhere you go. That's why here at ReScope Marketing, we know we build amazing websites. Everything we do is top tier. Why? Because our best product is our client experience. We like to say our customer service is truly unmatched because that's our foundation, because it's really sad. Nobody cares who you are anymore. Nobody has that human connection. We want to be that old fashioned. We care about our relationships. We foster them. We truly want to grow when you grow because we're marketeers. We're going to help build your company and scale it because we're not your average marketers. We've done 5 companies by ourselves. We're about to launch 2 more, and we truly are experts because we do know the who's, the what's, the whens, the where's, the why's, and the how's, because we fail every single day. If you're not failing, you're doing something wrong, and you're not even trying.
Wow, I 100% agree with that. So to get back to where you guys started, right, and you started with the lead gen, what Brad, maybe you can answer this. What services do you guys offer now, and what are your core services or like your bread and butter that you do?
So what we do now versus then?
Yeah. So you guys started with lead gen, right?
Yep, lead gen, and then
So
social media.
What all services do you offer now at ReScope Marketing?
Well, now we're a full service digital agency.
Full service.
Full service. We can do everything.
Yes.
You guys do everything from logos and websites and PPC. I know you guys do a lot over there. So
Email marketing, social media, paid ads, Google My Business, SEO, all of it.
What's your guys' bread and butter? What are your like top sellers or top services that you offer? Your most popular services, I should say.
Websites by far are our niche.
For sure.
That's what we think we're known for right now.
Love that.
E-commerce or not?
All
E-commerce?
types.
All types.
Yes.
All types of websites. You need a shop. We can do that. You have 10,000 products. We can do that. So websites definitely is our bread and butter. I'd say videography and then social media, they're all, doing very well. So
Anything else, Mr. Jack?
yeah, he's got
Yeah,
something.
see,
He's
the
got
thing
something over here.
I
He,
like to say all of our
I
line
saw-
of businesses are doing great, our departments, because they're definitely well managed. We're definitely hitting our targets. Across the board, we're averaging a 23% growth rate just in 8.5 months. Our target this year was a 410% rate, and we've already surpassed that. We're about to hire 2 new employees, and we're looking for a bigger building. So if anyone out there knows any warehouses available or any big office spaces, please let us know.
Oh yeah. And obviously,
hear
we'll link all their stuff in our description of this podcast as well. You guys know that. Speaking of that, how many employees do you guys have, or like, what does your team look like?
Yeah, so our team ranges from from A to Z as far as how to run the operations from day to day, and ultimately how do we provide that consistent of that 5-star client experience. Starts with the sales team as far as onboarding, to our client relations managers, to to be able to, hey, you can actually meet your videographer and your photographer. You can actually meet the coder of your website. You can actually meet the person that's doing your social media content. You can actually meet your content creator or your copywriter. We like to say we're real people, we're real marketers. We have a real building as far as, hey, we're a one-stop shop. We're located in South Jordan. Everyone's welcome. We're open 5 days a week. And that's the beautiful thing about us, is our team is well versed. And truly, each person is an expert in their field, but ultimately that's what brings us the synergy and that experience to our clients, because we like to say none of us is as smart as all of us.
100%. Well, I like that.
you might take a drink there.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
that
Just
was-
that.
Yeah.
He needs to
I love that you guys are so
rest
heavy
that
on
motor.
the customer service, and just being that you're real people. I think that's fundamental for what we do as well.
Yes.
Just because you got to have that personal touch, be available.
For sure.
If your clients have questions, you should always be available to answer those questions.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Feel like you're part of the team rather than somebody that they're hired to do stuff.
For sure, yes. And, as you guys know, there's a lot of marketers out there that put bad taste in people's mouth when they hear the word marketing or a marketer, due to the fact that most of them are one-man marketing vans. They're a middleman. They're good salesmen, but then they outsource everything. And, in all reality, they really don't know how to be able to scale a company or actually perform the task. They just know enough to sell it. But ultimately, back to, hey, when a client has a question or a concern, they have a hard time getting a hold of them and everything of that nature, and then most marketers promise the world and they always underdeliver. So here at ReScope Marketing, we don't ever promise anything. We let all of our analytics do the talking for us. We go after results, not promises.
Love that.
Yeah. And to answer your question, 10 employees.
Awesome.
There we go. There you go.
That's what I was curious about.
Yeah.
How big a team is. What are your guys' roles? As me and Koa have our different type of dynamic that we have, but what is your guys' dynamic in the company and how you guys run it? Like, what are your like? For example, I do a lot of the business stuff and sales, and he is all of our clients. So you guys have a situation like that?
Yeah, I'm the business side and sales, and Jeff is operations and sales.
Yeah,
Nice.
So when Brad and I first came business partners, we're equal partners, and, we wanted to be in everything and do everything together, but we realized, hey, we have two different skill sets, and, we're two alphas in the same cage, so, hey, I'm really good at operations. I'm really good at managing projects and teams and everything of that nature. You're really good with finances and dealing with money and everything of that nature. So you take finances, I'll take operations, and that's really what made us skyrocket and have us both be accountable to what we do, but ultimately give us, the keys to the castle to be able to make it work. Because when you have two people just going back and forth, unfortunately, nothing gets done.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's how me and Koa were when we started. When we first started, it was just me and Koa at the beginning. We had a weird beginning.
We did. We had a little call center.
We had a little call center at the beginning, but we got rid of that, and then it was just me and Koa in this office next to us.
Yeah.
And I remember I'd be like, dude, I'm gonna go slay accounts, and you're gonna fulfill those goddamn accounts.
That's what it
We've
takes.
had that conversation.
He's like, let's
how
go.
It started. That's exactly how it started.
And that's how we split the work. I was like,
Yes.
dude, like you're gonna do all the fulfillment, I'm gonna do all the sales. And like,
Yes.
we'll just go from there. And now, we do other
it
things
works.
now, but that's how it worked.
That's
Yes.
literally how it popped off. Yeah, that's exactly how we got up.
It's growing, two pillars at once instead of you guys trying to grow each pillar, together. It
Individually at
just
one
does,
time, yeah.
the productivity and the efficiencies just through the roof at that point.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you have to have those two pillars. Like, just going back to what we were talking about, sales is seriously the bloodline
For sure.
for
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
And so it's like, you have to have that sales. I see so many similar agencies that are amazing at creative, they're amazing at fulfillment, but they don't have that sales bug.
Yes.
And it just collapses on them. Right. And so it's like, you have to have those, and having somebody that is amazing at that and has somebody that's amazing at fulfillment and managing, it's how
Yes.
it makes the dream work,
And then, it's not only just about sales, but it's at that point, it's about the retention as well. Most of our clients that work with us, they've been with us either since we opened or for a few years. Most of our clients get with us and they stick with us because, once again, the customer service is unmatched. And everything of that nature. And once again, we go strictly off results. All we want to do is do better than week 1 compared to week 2. We want to know what the revenue was for the last 6 Mondays, last 6 Tuesdays. All we want to do is do better than last week and last month, right?
Right. Again, we're not just posting on your account. We don't do that. Our goal is to scale.
and bring money in.
And that's why they're staying with us. They're
Yes.
they're loving the growth. They're loving our, direction that we're giving them or taking them in. And we work together as a unit. So those are our ideal clients. They're the ones that want to scale. They realize they need that full funnel
For sure.
to grow, to
Yeah.
create their brand, to sustain for the next, 10 years.
And the biggest thing is, first and foremost is some clients think that results can happen overnight, right? They give you, their money and they're like, hey, I expected this to happen overnight, let alone in 30 days, But if you really want effective marketing strategies and strategies that can truly give you, 6 to 10 to 15 times ROI or ROAs, right? ultimately you got to be able to scale it. You know, it's like building a pyramid. You got to put your foundations in place. You got to make sure their website's built and it's coded correctly. If we're going to be sending all this traffic to your website, you know, is things getting coded correctly as far as, you know, is it going to have, you know, tracking parameters? Are we going to be able to see who's coming to our website and the behaviors? You know, when visitor A goes to your website, how many seconds were they on your homepage? You know, and obviously
he's got a fly buzzing around
right
now.
I was about to literally pause. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. We have a fly.
I've never seen a fly in here
You know,
He's trying to keep it cool.
It's understanding, you know, who your core customer is and what does that customer journey look like. The moment they ping to your website, it's kind of like this fly. What are they doing the moment they get to where they're at, right? They go to your homepage for 28 seconds, then they go to your about page or your services page, and then at that point, it's either do they call you, do they send an email inquiry, or do they bounce off your page? You know, as your marketer, we got to be able to figure out where we're winning them at, where we're losing them at, and where's the areas of opportunities. It's like doing a SWOT analysis, right? 100%. It's exactly figuring out, once again, what does that customer journey look like? And then now, as the marketer, now that we can be able to full visibility and see that pattern, that trend, now it's like, okay, now let's control the customer journey. We're going to leave breadcrumbs here. So now you're not seeing the same thing that's on Instagram as you do as Facebook, because as a follower, why would they have any incentive to follow you on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube or TikTok if you post the same shit at the same time and the same days, right? That's not a strategy. You're just doing something to do it. You're not doing something that makes sense. You know, so it's ultimately understanding who your core customer is. Are you speaking their language? And I'm not referring to English or Spanish, but are you resonating with them? You know, are you speaking to their core, right? Are you solving that problem for them, you know? And ultimately, once you figure that out, then understanding now how are they interacting with your brand or your ads or anything of that nature, you know, that's the most imperative thing. And once you understand that and you make sure all the tracking parameters are in place, then now you can build a true effective marketing strategy, because now you have all of your pyramid blocks in a row.
Yep.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was your masterclass on marketing. Honestly, like that's
That's literally down to the T. Yeah.
Last question, as we're getting to the end here, the last big question I have for you guys is, what's the future of ReScope? What are you guys' goals or vision? Where are you guys going?
Man, our vision keeps changing. Every day something new happens.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah, you know, our vision is really to have, you know, multiple brands in whatever industry. You know, that's what we love. We love to, you know, start new businesses.
Yes.
So who knows? Who knows what the future holds, but things are looking good.
Yeah.
You guys are getting a bigger building. You guys are looking for that. You guys are growing in that way. What is your take on that?
Yeah, so, you know, with ReScope Marketing, you know, it's came to be about ReScope Enterprises. You know, everything that we're starting to do is, you know, everything that we do as far as our future endeavors and our business transactions and our dealings is everything's powered by our marketing agency. So back in 2018, we opened up ReScope Marketing. 2020, we opened up ReScope Drain Aid. And then, you know, 2021, we opened up, you know, ReScope Rentals, and we opened up ReScope Records. And then now we opened up ReScope Enterprises, which is our corporation that owns all the ReScope brands. In the next 2 months, we're about to launch an apparel company. It's going to be our ReScope brand. It's just going to be the R as the icon. And we're going to give a percentage of all of our sales to, you know, charities. You know, either kids with disabilities, homelessness, or, you know, mental health for here in the state of Utah only. Because we want to take care of our community. You know, and I've always been a big fan of the Larry H. Miller family growing up. You know, they own the entertainment, the jazz, the food, you know, everything of that nature, right? The car lots. So to me, you know, my vision of ReScope is I want to be the ReScope family. I want 25 ReScope brands just in the state of Utah alone by the year 2030.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Guys, we've never had a fly in here before.
Right?
Yes. It must be mean good luck.
So
and this is our first time, so there's a first time for everything.
Good luck sign. I love that.
We're powering through it, though.
Yes.
God damn it. We just talked about that. We're adjusting along the way. So
yes, you have to go with change and, you know, go with the unexpected.
Yes.
Guys, we're going to link all of their stuff, all their sites, if you want to get a hold of them in the bio. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Yes,
is there anything else that you want to let our viewers know or our listeners know?
Yeah, if you guys are looking to maybe scale your company and looking out to see if there's a marketer or marketing agency that's definitely a good fit for you, definitely reach out to us. Once again, we just don't specialize in marketing. We specialize in scaling your company. We work with your team day in, day out as far as working with processes, procedures, workflows, how we can do to help manage your team, get the right people in the door, get you with the right systems and softwares and automations to help the utmost of productivity and efficiency. So once again, that's what makes us unique. We would love to give you guys a free consultation. You can look us up on our website at ReScopeMarketing.com. We are located in South Jordan. All you need to do is Google ReScope Marketing and we'll pop up, and we're looking forward to meet anyone that comes our way.
Thanks, guys.
Nice. Yeah, thanks for being on the podcast, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you again, guys. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cool.
As always, you guys can catch these podcasts on our website, on YouTube, on all the major streaming platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
And please subscribe, mother chuckers. Until next time, guys.
If you don't know, now you know.